All right, here we go. Right. What I do with my notes. All right, I think most of you know Barbara Varney. She was born in Berkeley, California, the sovereign state of. But her family roots go all the way back to Daniel Boone's sister. Isn't that amazing? And that was playing the
Wasn't Daniel Boone related to his sister?
Boone's Anyway, her family can be traced back to long before the gold rush here in Sonoma County, so she's got some pretty deep roots. She joined Rotary in 1989 with the Rotary Club of Petaluma Valley and was a past president there. They ran her off, and she joined us in 2000 and has been here ever since. Very active in the district, as a district foundation grants chair for 4 years. She's current district treasurer, and she's been to the Festival of Brotherhood numerous times in Mexico and also Rotoclass missions. She's here to talk to us a little bit about her Ecuador projects. Oh, and also she moved here in 1999 to West County, lives there with her husband Steve. They have 2 grown children and a bunch of cats, animals, and everything else you can imagine. So with that, please a warm welcome to our own Barbara Varney.
Thank you. Everything's working wrong. Good. Hey, I stole the cats. Now it's not working. Dang.
You have to point at what you won't work on the TV. Ken, can you help us?
Won't work with the TV? Okay. So I'm going to talk about, last November, for the 2nd year in a row, my husband and I went down to Ecuador for the Rotary Project Fair. And you may say, why Ecuador? Because the Rotarians in Ecuador have it together when it comes to projects. This was the 11th project fair in Quito. Here's a map of Ecuador, and if my little handy-dandy red dot worked, other way. Yeah, it doesn't really, no, it works for the cat. What you would see up there, kind of at the top, you'll see Quito. Now, Quito is the capital. It is the highest elevation capital in the world at 9,400 feet because of the Andes in the middle of the country. Then you get down to the Pacific coast, and of course, sea level. You go the other direction to the Amazon basin, and it's really close to sea level. So where we were, we flew in and out of Quito, of course. We spent time just north of Quito a little bit in La Esperanza, which is where one of our projects is. We went down south of Quito to a village outside Ambato, which you'll see pictures of. And because you're going to have fun when you go down something like this, we also went to the Amazon jungle. So, quite a trip. Last year when we did it, we went to the Galapagos, so we didn't have to do that this year. First thing we did when we got there is have a road trip. One of the wonderful things about going to a project fair and meeting local Rotarians is then being able to go out and actually visit and see and touch the projects that we participate in. Now this time we visited 2 potential projects. The first one was in this particular city, and do not ask me to pronounce it. But it is a microcredit project that this is an area where the unemployment rate is close to 76%. So being able to create employment opportunities is huge. We had a meeting with groups that already have what they call savings banks. Now these aren't banks in the terms that we have, but this is a group where they put in $10 a month. They'll have groups of 6 to 8. And every month then they decide who gets to use that money for their economic development. This is a picture where I received this doll. But what I people in this picture on the far left here, this is Jose Suarez, Govinda Maya, Loli Suarez, there's me, and then two of the other ladies. And there's Dale Knight, who many of you already recognize. Now, Jose and Loli are husband and wife in Quito, I can't remember the name of the club. Jose is a medical doctor. When he graduated from medical school, he had to go out and live in a village for 4 years. They lived in a village close to this, and that is why he has these connections. He's our primary Rotarian for this and for the training farm, which you'll see in a minute. He is not only a medical doctor, he has a master's in public health and a doctorate in epidemiology, and taught at the University of Washington Medical School. So these are fascinating people. Govinda, who is originally from South Asia, is a Rotarian in the Philadelphia area, and he was down here looking at projects, this microcredit project in this area. So they served us breakfast. Now, after we visited this project, we went to the demonstration training farm project, which is one that we had learned about in November of 2014. We were able to go back for the inauguration that was done by a local shaman. I will not bore you because nobody will sit here, but it was a 2-hour ceremony, and we have a video if anybody's interested, but it was kind of fascinating. This is what he had on the ground when he did all of his, whatever he does. He wore Birkenstocks, cracked me up. You can see the flowers. It had the 4 points: earth, wind, sun, water. And in the various points it had the cross. And one of the things that you'll find interesting about Ecuador, it may be on the equator, but because of the elevation, what they are able to grow is very similar to what we are able to grow. In fact, it's more like, I'd have to say a little bit warmer, more like Berkeley. Because you will see jade plants growing in the ground. They grow cabbages, spinach, celery, everything that we think of, as normal. Here's the shaman, a closer picture of that. And here was a ceremony where we planted the first seeds. And then this was drinks afterward. Here's a picture from our hotel in Quito. And it happened to be an absolutely incredibly beautiful day, and the volcano was giving off steam. The hotel in Quito was the Swiss Hotel, which was very nice. So now we go back to the project fair itself. And the way the project fair works, it was 3 days. In the morning, you would have presentations by the clubs who were there that day. Then in the afternoon, they would have a booth where you could go and talk to them and meet with them and get more one-on-one. This is the listing. There were 32 projects presented by about 25 different clubs. But one of the things that got me really excited is 2 of the projects were presented by the Rotaract clubs. So when we got back, I sent the information on those projects to the Rotaract leader, district governor-ish person here in our district, so that hopefully our Rotaract clubs can participate with their Rotaract clubs on these projects. Ecuador has an extremely active youth exchange program. So one of the things that I found fascinating, we met with the Rotarians from Ambato who are putting together the Adopt a Village program, in a minute. And one of their sons was sitting there, and of course we had the district governor Manuel was translating for us because the Ambato Rotarians didn't speak English. And I could see the kid over there, and I went up to him afterwards and I said, you understood that everything that we were saying, didn't you? He said, oh yeah, I was an exchange student in Wisconsin. So, and the same thing with the Rotaractors. Most of them had also been exchange students. So they have a pretty good feed, if you want to think of it that way, of youth exchange exchange students who then go into Rotaract, who then become Rotarians. I don't really have pictures of the project fair itself, because when you're inside and I have, let's just say politely, limited camera skills, it's like, you know, lift up the iTouch, take a picture, and I'm good. So most of these pictures I have to thank my husband, who is far more talented than I am, both at taking pictures and at getting them off the camera into the computer in a format where I can actually figure out how the heck to get to them. After Quito, we took the fun part and visited an eco-lodge in the Ecuadorian jungle. And again, you can't really, well, the map's gone, but it's over in the area on the Mapo River, which is one of the major tributaries to the Amazon. And you fly into Coca, which is a half-an-hour flight from Quito, but you drop basically 9,000 feet. You land in Coca, you get into what they call a canoe, which is really a very long fiberglass boat with airplane-type seats and a couple of 50 horsepower Evinrudes in the back. And you go for about an hour and a half downriver to this eco-lodge that abuts the national park. And it was the Quechua Indians. And I think, I was trying to remember, they taught us and I'm bad at languages, they taught us the greeting for hello, and I've completely forgotten it. Ali, Quechua, this is the Napo Lodge. The Napo is part of the village. Over the course of the 4 days that we were there, we went and visited different things. One of them was a cultural center that recreated one of the homes that the families live in. This is the lady talking about, that's one of our guides up there, but she's talking about the different things that are going on and what they would do in these homes. And you can see, of course, this is jungle, hot, muggy, and buggy. So they basically have roof shelters, a little bit of fencing to kind of keep things in or out, and that's it. They have a fire in the middle of the floor. They have hanging shelves so that the critters can't get to things as fast. This is one of the boats. One of the things we did was take a ride down. They have what they call the black water areas, which are kind of like the swampy lagoons because of the peat in the soil. This is the Bing Lodge, the Eco Lodge. Very, very, very nice. This is one of the houses in that village that's associated with the Eco Lodge. And here is our motley crew. There were 6 of us from Rotary from this area that went. There was, of course, my husband Steve and I, Dale Knight, Roland Park Katati, Joe Thornton, president of Petaluma Valley, Sherry Rainey, who's in the Petaluma Club, and her friend Sally, who was actually from Chico and not a Rotarian. Then we also had, as part of our group at the Eco Lodge, another lady here who is German. And she was there because her daughter was doing a language school in Quito. She was from Munich, a computer person. So it was kind of fun to have somebody completely different as part of our group. We had a great time. You wear rubber boots in the jungle. You never wear your own shoes. This is a wasp nest. Now, most of the pictures my husband took, you have to admit, photo with lens, you do not see much. But there were 5 different kinds of monkeys. There's a bluff, a clay deposit on a bluff on the river where the parrots come because that clay has a certain chemical in it that allows them to eat seeds that otherwise would be toxic. So we got to see the swarming of the parrots, we got swarming of parakeets, 5 kinds of monkeys, tarantulas like that had to be coaxed out of their nest, don't worry. So this is a wasp nest. Now, so we left the Amazon on Friday. On Saturday, we went down to Ambato. District Governor Manuel Nieto and his wife Amparo took us down to Ambato so that we could visit a village where Frank Mayhew is doing an Adopt a Village program. This village is at 11,000. So we go from the jungle, which was probably 500 feet, to 11,000 feet overnight. And then from there on Sunday, then we can come that Saturday night, we come home. We go up and down. This village is, they build the villages on the ridge line, and then you can kind of see the fields that go down behind the homes. This is the village. What you're really looking at is the community center and the school. They service a snack, raw beans, and potatoes. And then a drink that's sort of this fermented, I'm not sure exactly what fruit. And then a soup of salt. This is what they normally eat. Now this is a village, the Adopt a Village program, what this project is going to be doing is hooking up the government built a sewage treatment plant. They didn't hook anybody up to it. So what this project is going to do is hook up 88 homes to the sewer system. The government is going to be doing half the homes, and then the local grant will be doing the other half. It also will be working with economic development by buying a higher quality sheep stock, so they can improve the wool quality and improve the meat quality and be able to sell the babies for more money. This is a typical original type home in this village. It's mud, it has very small windows, thatched roof, and I went inside it and you couldn't even take pictures because it was way too dark. And smelly because of the smoke. This is a more modern home. What's happening is that the people who leave will repatriate money and they will build a more modern home. And I took this picture because you can see right there a cat. It was the first cat we'd seen, which really surprised me because I would have thought there would be a lot more cats because, of course, you know, when you're on farms, you have rodents. Here we are. One of the things that we did was, of course, they had this big meeting with all the dignitaries giving speeches. You sit there. It's really wonderful. You sit there and you can't hear, you know, you can't really understand anything. You know, they're pontificating and you sit there and enjoy it. So this was the group of the villagers out in front of one of the buildings. So that's it on my slideshow. Now, the other thing that I really wanted to talk about, though, is how we fund these global grants. Now, these three projects are all projects our club is participating in. So, the Training Farm project, our club put $2,500 into. The Adopt a Village, we're putting we're putting $2,500 into the Adopt a Village. We have the new microcredit that we're going to put $2,500 into. We also have, last year we visited the microcredit project in Esmeraldas, which is up in the northern coast area. There's an extension into new territory on that microcredit. We're putting another $1,000 into. So our budget this year for international is $8,000. This is why you want to give money to the Rotary Foundation. Because that money that our club has allocated, that $8,000, gets matched at the Rotary Foundation with district designated funds of $8,000. Then club money and the district designated funds get matched again. So that money is, so you're trying to do the math, $12,000.
You are an accountant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Just want to make sure.
So, making a long story short, so that's $12,000 plus the $8,000 DDF. That's $20,000 of Rotary Foundation money that our $8,000 is accessing. Now, I asked Diana earlier how much our club has contributed this year to the Rotary Foundation. She said, 9,000 or so. So look at club money. We've accessed $20,000 of Rotary Foundation money. We've only contributed 9. So we are able to access more than we have contributed. One of the things I want to mention on the microcredit, it's not just providing loan funds. It includes training for how to do a business plan, how to price your product, how to market, how to do your bookkeeping, how to hire employees. It's a training program that goes along with these loan funds. And in Ecuador, there are 2 different organizations, NGOs, that are highly successful with the administration of these microcredit programs. So they work with a bank like Raman Bank, and then you have this other NGO who really handles overseeing and administering the different groups and the training component. A lot of the training is done by the Rotarians in the club that sponsors the microcredit. So the Rotarians are involved in the training, and it's been in Esmeraldas, where we were the year before, highly, highly successful. And it's really great to see. So, questions? If anybody has questions, Brian.
I was just going to say that if 8,000 becomes 20,000, but in addition, you have a lot of in-kind, donated volunteer time, and a lot of Rotarians also, they sell things at wholesale into the project, so it's actually, you get more like 30,000.
This is just maximizing our club money. Yes, for instance, the farm was $66,000 global grant, the adoptability is $88,000, microcredit Newman is $60,000, the microcredit extension is another $70,000. So we're talking about our part is pretty small, but because we're able to leverage the foundation money, we really can make a significant difference. And it's so much fun, and Jerry knows this really well. Rotary travel is the only way to see a country. You'd never be able to visit and meet wonderful people when you go when you do Rotary travel. Now, I really want to encourage anybody who's slightly interested in going to Ecuador next fall, next November, to go to the project fair. You will enjoy it. You will probably, Dale will go again. I'm not sure who else will go. We may or may not go. I have a 91-year-old mother-in-law. But it's really the only way to see a country, and you get to touch the projects. And it makes it all worthwhile.
One more question from Nick.
Nick?
Did you eat cuy?
Who?
Cuy.
Who's we?
No, that's in Peru. That's in Peru.
No. It's very much in Ecuador and around Quito. They have whole districts where that's all they do is have cuy restaurants.
No, but we did eat at a pretty wonderful Punjabi restaurant in Quito.
Okay.
So what's
Cuys are guinea pigs.
Oh, no, we did not eat.
And they're very popular.
They are very popular, and no, we didn't. Oh, that's right. I get it.
Everything.
Okay, there aren't very many, so got your tickets out? Got tickets, got tickets. 6899.
Yes.
Hey, Brian, what was the number?
Whatever she said.
I have 6899. How did you get it? Hey, it says 6899 here.
Really?
Did I take the wrong side?
Oh, I looked at it upside down.
Rich get blinder.
You were so close.
What's the matter? They teach how to read in Stanford.
Barbara Parker.
It's in the wrong.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. You remember ringing me? Okay.
All right, Jerry Meshalem is on deck, or Joe? Here's the joke.
Here's the joke for the day. You know, in about a week or two, Pliny the Younger is coming out, right? Yeah. Well, let me tell you a quick story about what happened last year. I went up with Joe to Occidental, to that hops and whatever it is. Barley and hops, and he had helped somebody jump-start his car on the way out. So he walks in with a pair of jumper cables around his neck, and the bartender said, "Hey, I'll serve you, but just don't try to start anything in here."